All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we are back here, and apologies for the delay in the. I think we are just a few minutes late, but apologies anyway. This is still the East African wedding show, and I must say that we are still super energized. This is day one, and thank you so much, Inshuti. Thank you so much, Aline, for doing such a great job earlier and engaging everybody and making sure that people are well updated. And for those of you who have stayed through and through, we are so grateful. And at this point in time, we are honored, ladies and gentlemen. Earlier, Inshuti, my colleague, introduced him, and I really, let me say that this man is a man of style. He understands what style is. He lives style, he breathes style, he walks with style, he sees style. Everything around him is about style. Ladies and gentlemen, from House of Tayo, I want us to welcome and really appreciate. He's the founder and creative director from the House of Tayo. Is Matthew Rugamba. Matthew, good to
Yes,
see
yes. Good to see you too, Mr. Pratt.
I've heard so much about you, but we have this greeting here from Ghana. Today I've been teaching them a lot of things, and part of what I want is like this. We do this thing. Yeah, it's a boys' corner. It's a boys' corner. So I know there are some ladies who are here as well joining us and to enjoy this conversation we are having. And what we are talking about today is where to start for groom. Most men, earlier we had this conversation that what happens is that most men will wait last minute stuff. You know how men are, and thinking that the wedding is for the bride. Let me just leave everything to the bride. It's fine. Let me leave everything. But then they end up realizing that if they had been engaged from the beginning, they either could have cut down costs or could have minimized the amount of time wasted on other things. So it's important that we are having this conversation, and I want us to further this conversation. So anyway, how have you been? Tell us a little bit about House of Tayo before we start our conversation.
So I started the brand almost 10 years ago now, but functioning as a business about 7 years. And we started doing suits in 2014. And that's when you started going to suits, and then started branching into weddings, and then realized how big of an opportunity weddings are. And actually, that is the time most men get their suits. They tend to build a collection over a couple of years as being a groomsman and all that. But what we've been doing of late is really trying to communicate the style of a modern groom. I think one thing that we've built over the years is really trying to you want to get that person's personality. You want to sometimes, because many men just walk in and say, listen, they told me to get a navy blue suit or a black suit. This is what I'm getting. And I think that there's a lot more to that process. So at House of Tayo, that's something we've been building on.
Oh, great. I mean, that's very interesting because, the negligence on the part of most men to even pay attention to color of suit, color of shoes, the need to even groom yourself very well and be well prepared for this. Now, let's go straight to what we are talking about today. Where does it start? Where does it start for a groom? So I'm getting married. Earlier today, you missed out. I made a proposal with this beautiful flower to Aline, and they told me that this is not a proper flower. And I told them I brought this flower all the way from Greece, Olympiacos, to make sure that I proposed to her. And they said it's not an original one, so she didn't take it. Now, assuming Aline accepted my proposal and I'm to start, where do I start as a groom? Where do I start from?
So I think that the important thing is, people deal with many different timelines. Some people propose a year in advance. Some people, it might be a turnaround of a couple months. So I think those are all things that I have to take into consideration when I give this answer. But I think that someone needs to start planning their outfits like around 3 months before the wedding. If you can do it earlier, that's even better. But I think that you need to sit down and be honest with yourself. Some guys think that they're going to lose weight by the wedding. I need you to be honest with yourself at that moment in time, and don't use that as a reason to delay the start.
Mm-hmm.
I think that even if you think you're going to lose weight or your body's going to change, you're going to become buff in time for the wedding, even if those things are sort of part of your plan, you need to sit down with a professional. And it doesn't need to be that, this can be a stylist, can be someone who makes suits. It can be someone whose style you trust. It doesn't have to be too complicated, but you need to start mentally preparing for what it will look like.
Mm.
I'd say the minimum 3 months before.
Mm.
And typically in different cities there are wedding seasons. So
Mm.
if you take that into consideration, if everyone is trying to get the same products from similar vendors
Mm.
in certain time periods of the year, then they might have to turn you down. So these are all things that are very important in terms of timing. You need to start as early as possible. When you start, you might see your bride to be traveling all these places to try wedding dresses or whatever. You should be on the same wavelength if you want to make sure that you are getting the most value for money. Sometimes just having that early conversation allows you to budget, you know,
Okay.
and that's an important consideration when you think about. I think one important thing that I try to tell my clients is because sometimes I'll meet men who have so many costs to deal with. If they're paying for the wedding, and then they're typically moving into a marital home, so they're furnishing a house as well. So
Mm-hmm.
when you have so many costs, all of a sudden the importance of what you wear on the day goes down the list.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so in those situations, when I talk to a client early, um, instead of I don't want the client to think that the suit is for one day, because then it diminishes how much they want to put in, or the value that he places on that outfit. But in that situation, let's say if there's tight budget constraints, we build something like an investment. So the
Okay.
same way you're investing into your home or whatever, you purchase you know a good quality suit that you can use in other situations. So
Okay.
it's not a one and done.
Mm.
And then you make it more special by the accessories and those small details.
Mm-hmm.
So when you wear it on your wedding, it looks like it was tailored specifically for that day. But then
Oh.
you can wear it for important business meetings and all that later in the year, or
Okay.
even beyond that. Yeah.
And then that's very very essential. It's very very important because budgeting has always been the theme. In some cultures, the men fully take responsibility of all the wedding costs. In other cultures, I know that they split the cost. In much more, conventional cultures, what people do is that I know some people who realistically go and take loans. And so when it happens like that, when they are doing their scale of preference, of course, the ones that will absorb the majority of the budget, like the food and the decoration, is what they focus on. And so, not really about their style. So, it's important that you are giving us this very useful information, and I really appreciate it. Now, another thing I also want to find out is that I've observed certain trends. It
Mhm.
used to be an all black bespoke suit, and then you do that for your wedding, you see the groomsmen. We've observed new trends. Gentlemen are now wearing pink suits. They are now wearing very yellow suits. They are wearing unconventional colors that ideally men will not wear. Tell us, what are the new trends when it comes to bespoke suits and how men should look on their wedding day?
I think that generally more care is being put into what a man looks like on his wedding day. You're seeing a lot more money spent on different suits. You're seeing a lot more flashiness. So very bold colors, bold cuts, and there's that desire to be unique and special. So and I think that this is partly been accelerated by social media and whatnot. People want to see, they want to post their wedding pictures with tons of likes and really break the internet, sort of thing. Um, so I think that that's one trend, and it's difficult to pinpoint one thing in particular because people keep trying to push the boundaries. So if someone had, an electric blue suit for the wedding this summer, and the picture was all over the place, the next couple of months you might find some replicas, but beyond that, you're going to see people say, okay, you know what, I want something different. So it will go in cycles. And Pat, did we lose you there?
Yeah, I'm trying to connect back. Sorry, I'm
All
on my.
right, no problem. I'll keep going. Um, so you're seeing very trends like, velvet jackets. You're seeing much. You're seeing more groomsmen. You know, and I think so that you have that powerful visual of you know a group of six or more guys walking in nice matching suits and the like. So I think that's typically where it's going. It goes in cycles, and the cycles are much faster depending on what broke the internet that wedding season.
Oh,
So yeah, but one thing that I tend to do in my process when I'm meeting with a groom is to sit down and say, okay, come with photos of things that have inspired you or
okay.
that you've liked. And this is just to gauge their appetite for risk,
Mm-hmm.
to see where they're leaning towards, and that's the process. Is just to feel them out before I come up with my suggestions. And then once we've had that dialogue, we build from there. And in that process, what I'm trying to understand your character, your personality. And if you are a guy who is typically always wearing black, just subtle earth tones. You don't want to wear anything loud. Then you come to me with the idea for a yellow suit. I will say, listen, you have to match your character. Otherwise, it doesn't matter how well cut the suit is or how well put together it is. If it doesn't match, on a wedding, it's the emotion. You look at someone's face, their interactions, and if it doesn't look natural, the suit won't look good. So that's a very important part where we try to feel out the character and not move solely based on trends.
So the character is very, very important. So that brings me to talk about personality types. Is there any relationship? I don't know if there's any relevant. I don't want to go there with. I really like to talk about studies because those are facts. I don't know whether there's any relationship between your personality type and the type of suit you should wear. And
Yeah.
whether if you're very calm person, should you go with a loud suit, something with a very loud color, so that it brings your confidence out, or the type of suit you should wear? Should it depend on the type of personality you have?
I think that it's a combination. That's why it's good to talk to a professional, because you have gentlemen say, "Listen, this is my special day. How can I make it special?" And I don't want to stick to, I guess, the uniform that I have, that I've been wearing all my life. But you need a professional to help you um, keep that balance. You have to retain parts of your identity and character, and also, I guess, adapt to what you want. So for instance, if I was to give an example, if I have someone who is generally, let's just say they always wear black, they try to blend into the background, very subtle and whatever, but they said that they want something special for their big day. So what I would recommend is, I guess, say if they want, say, like a brighter blue, I would say, to have a tuxedo, black pants, the body of the jacket is blue, a lighter blue, and then you have black lapel. So in that situation, you have you have this person embracing something that is a bit more vibrant than people would usually associate with them. But then you have the black accents and the black pants to tone it down. If that gentleman walks into the wedding in a full electric blue suit, then it looks out of character, and then you have this person, um, can see the responses of the guests, and then they might shrink. You need to create something that also somewhat fits within their character and identity.
Wow, that's very interesting. So for those of you watching, we are talking to Matthew Tayo Rugamba. He is a creative director and also the founder of the House of Tayo. He's been doing this for over 10 years. And Matthew, can I wear something like this on my wedding day?
I think you can. It depends on a number of factors. It depends on setting. I think that that's very key. I think that it's and also, so for example, if you wore your the combination that you have right now with maybe some light colored pants and whatever, that can work for like a beach wedding, or a garden wedding, that along those lines. And I have clients who told me they don't want to wear a tie, you know, which we can always work around. You can always find a way of working with the customer's preferences. Then I've seen some people wear tuxedos on a beach wedding, It's absolutely ridiculous. Half the pictures, the guy's dripping in sweat when you don't need to look like that. I've done wedding outfits where it was literally a nice shirt and pant combination, really well done, and embellished a bit, and it matched the person's character, and it also matched the setting. It was a garden wedding, and even for people who are traditionalists, they looked at it and they're like, "Oh, this is actually really nice," because you have to have that balance of setting, venue, and the character, the personality of the person.
Wow. And I mean, I was asking that question because of one, we've looked at personality types and the choice of suit you have to do. Now, I want us to look at our environment. I want us to look at our culture. Is there a way to incorporate culture and heritage? I don't know much about the history of suits, but you and I know very well that it's not African. So my question is that I've seen people do different fabrics using African fabrics. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's a little bit too off. How do we incorporate our culture, our identity into your outfit?
So I think that once again you look at the situation. I think that in at least for many African cultures that I know, you have a traditional wedding, then you have the white wedding. So in many instances, on the cultural wedding, you go full cultural, and that's when you wear traditional attire, go through traditional, the full traditional ceremony and whatever, and then for the white wedding, you wear a more, I guess, traditional suit. But if you wanted to incorporate your tradition into the white wedding, I have a few ideas of that for that as well. I think that you need to. I think a safe bet is always to do it with the accents. So maybe a bow tie, pocket square, maybe some socks, and then I think that that's a safe way to play it. And then what I would recommend is, for the after party or maybe reception, you can have a different outfit that is a little bit more traditional. Because when you think about it, the after party, you're dancing, you are moving around. It can get hot, so and many of my clients say, okay, you know what? I usually get hot at weddings. What do I do with my jacket? should I wear suspenders underneath? Should I have a waistcoat? So I would actually say to them that you can wear the a full-on suit for the church bit or the religious part, and then maybe part of the reception, then you change into your traditional gear. If you have if you I think that if you come up with a solid plan, you can get excellent photos of everything. And I think that's what you want at the end of the day. You've worn your outfits, you've celebrated, and you've captured the moments. Yeah.
Now let's look at certain mistakes. Are there any faux pas you see a lot of grooms commit? So are there certain trends that you think, no, 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 this thing shouldn't be like that? Are there any things that specifically in the past days, years, or months of your experience, have you seen a lot of grooms commit when it comes to looking good on
I think that I think the number one thing that I've seen of late is grooms just taking a picture of Instagram and telling a tailor, do this, without a dialogue on, things like body type and all those different things, without having a proper conversation, whether, not discussing the settings or whatever. So I think that that's a very bad starting point, not having a proper conversation about what your looks are in the setting. I think that's number one. You can't just go with a photo to the tailor and say, do this. Let it be a conversation. Let it develop. And I think part of that happens because of the time constraints. When you have less than a month to the wedding, then I think that's when that happens. One that I've been seeing of late as well is pants that are too short, and that really irritates me. So pants
it?
that are way too short, um, that no socks. I mean, you can do a no socks, but you need to talk to a professional about that. You need to talk to someone who actually deals with clothing or understands style. Um, so that's another part. Um, then there is this obsession with a slim fit, and the confusion surrounding slim fit. You can be a big guy, and the cut is, it's a slimmer fit, but that's when you're dealing with a professional. There's a lot of confusion between slim fit and a tight suit, and someone, some people believe that it is only slim fit when it's tight, and so literally they look like they're suffocating on their wedding day. And so that is something that they need to pay attention to. They need to look at um, the way that that the jacket fits on your shoulders, small details like that really make a big difference. And the jacket, and this I think typically happens when a suit is bought off the rack, and you can buy a suit off the rack if that fits your needs. But if you're going to do that, you need to set aside money to have it tailored to you. So that is to to adjust the pants a bit, to bring in the jacket if it needs to be brought in. Um, I also see people, they don't invest in a good white shirt, and that affects the way the suit looks in the end. I think that a good quality white shirt is can be underrated. I think that you need to look at that white shirt as an investment, not not the white shirts that you pick up from maybe an H&M and Zara, and then after two wears, the collar has wrinkles. Yeah. So one thing that I also like to talk to my clients about is cost per wear. You
Mm.
know, so if you buy, let's say I buy a white shirt for $100, good quality, good color, good good fabric, good buttons, all those details, and I have it for 2 to 3 years.
Mm.
that is better than buying a $20 shirt from H&M that you can only wear it and it looks good maybe twice, twice or thrice. If you look at it, if you're looking at it in a cost per wear situation, that shirt that you've just spent $20 on, you've only worn it 3 times. So the shirt that was over $100 turns out to be cheaper.
Yeah.
So I think those are any important conversations and things that people should consider.
Wow.
I think that another thing is wearing the appropriate suit for the appropriate moment. You might see something on Instagram, you might like it, but is it appropriate for what your setting is going to look like? That's why I was saying you can't wear a tuxedo on a beach wedding. You're going to sweat. You look ridiculous. That's number two. So you have to take these things into consideration. And if you're honest with yourself and you plan it out properly, something that you might think is understated ends up looking so elegant and so well done because it's appropriate in so many different ways. Yeah.
So, I mean, what it means is that appropriation is very important. There's another issue I'll talk about later in the questions that I would ask you when it's got to do with personalization. But I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit.
Yeah.
Matthew, I'm just going to put you on the spot. You're a very clean, crisp gentleman with all the swag and all of that. You're just going to show us your cleaners. You know how you guys do it? Like you do that thing.
Yeah.
Put you on the spot a little bit. It's a conversation about where to start for when it comes to the groom. And we are doing this with Matthew. Matthew, I'm putting you on the spot just a little bit.
Yeah.
You know this song. Say, if you
Actually, I don't.
You don't know the song?
No.
Okay, you don't know the song. All right, but it's fine. We want you to show us with your groove and your swag as the song. I got a feeling that you guys do.
Okay, yeah.
Exactly. It was just to get us excited and just keep it.
Yes.
But what is it about that theme? What is it with the swag, with the suave, and doing that? What's there to clean?
It's just showing you're a perfectionist. It's clean, but you won't show it can. It might need to be cleaner. Yeah. So I think that's it. Yeah.
All right, that's interesting. So we're still on. We are talking about where to start for grooms. So if you are a potential groom, if you have a brother, if you have, I know there are some ladies who are tuning in as well. If you are a soon-to-be bride, there are things that you need to learn. Now let's talk about rules. I know that there are some people, there's a school of thought, you do your brown shoe, it should match with your brown belt. You can do, it's a mismatch to do. I don't know whether it still holds. Nowadays, fashion doesn't have any, but I still believe that there are still rules that guide simple way of dressing and still looking elegant, especially on a special day like that. Are there any rules? Talk about shoes, accessories.
Yeah, they are. There definitely is. There definitely a couple of rules. I think that one thing that I try to gauge in my processes is I tell clients that your wedding day isn't the day to make a super unexpected sartorial statement. So that is, I think, one rule to start with. You need to. I think that's why I say talk to a professional and understand that the setting and whatever. As I mentioned earlier, when you look at the fit of the suit, you need to pay attention to things like the shoulders. Do they start and end on your actual shoulder? When you look at the length of your shirt, it should come out about half an inch to an inch. It should come out of the jacket, so that you have that small white detail on the cuff. In terms of, your pants, um, I think that different people have different preferences. But I think one general rule is that the pants should just touch there should be a small break on top of the pants. But that again varies on the type of suit, the exact length. But your pants should touch your shoes. Um, I think that um, there's this whole sort of
Hanging pants?
sorry.
No hanging pants.
No, no. Yeah, it's. I think that you. I no. I think that you. It depends. You can do it with if you're wearing like these special velvet slippers or whatever,
Okay.
then you can do it to a certain degree. But um, I think the safest bet is that it needs to touch your shoes, because that is there's I think with the harder rules, you have to add a bit of flexibility, but there's some things that you should really keep in mind. I think that there shouldn't be a gap between your lapel and the collar. That is something that just looks off. So the collar needs to be sort of tucked in or just next to the lapel. With the gap, it's a detail that looks yeah, it looks off. And it's one of those things where someone might not be able to point out, but they're like, that suit doesn't look right. And it's those small things. Our eyes look for symmetry, and so when you take some of that away, people won't be able to pinpoint. Let's say people who are not as accustomed to men's tailoring, menswear, or fashion, they might not be able to pinpoint what the exact issue is, but they just know it doesn't look right. Um, I think that another important rule is to do a trial run. You need to have tried on the suit in its entirety before the day. I've heard horror stories from grooms who don't try on the waistcoat until the day. And in one particular instance, that groom he was trying on the suit to go to the wedding, and the waistcoat couldn't fit. So they had to cut the back of the waistcoat. So the back of the waistcoat was open just so that he could button the front. So those are some of the issues. You have so many issues if you don't do a full trial run before the wedding. And I've had other stories of grooms um who've wanted a very slim fit suit, and they only try on the suit standing, but they don't try it sitting. And then when they finally sit down in the full suit, it's too tight, and you can see the suit pulling from different parts, and it just doesn't look good. You have one thing in our weddings in Rwanda, there's a lot of hugging, and there's a lot of going around and hugging, and so if your suit is also too tight, you see people struggling to hug or greet the elders, and it's small things like that. You really have to try on the suit, walk around, go through some of the motions. Sometimes I make some of my clients dance a little to see how it will feel on the day, and I think that those things are all very important.
How about watches and suits? What do you advise? Watch and suit. I've seen people do sportswear watches. Like typically, I've seen people wear most of the times the iWatch with a suit. How about that? What's your take on that?
I say, for some people, watches are linked to their personality. So I believe you can wear a watch on the day. I don't think you should be carrying out your wallet around. I don't think so. It should be with someone else, because it will bulge in your pocket. I think you shouldn't also have your phone, but maybe your best man can hold your phone for you or something. so you can have it close by for any quick selfies or
Mm.
whatnot. But generally, you shouldn't have your phone. You don't need that stress on the day.
No.
So why should you keep your phone
Mm.
bulging in your pocket? I think that those are things to consider. I think that ideally is if you're wearing a tuxedo, it would look nice with a more classic watch, non not the digital kind, a more analog. Um, but I think that it once again that could be the element of your personality that you might want to retain. So there are no hard rules on those.
Mhm.
It's really case by case, but there's certain considerations you should have. Um, I think that with regards to belts, I don't think you should be wearing a belt
Mm.
for your wedding. As I said, your wedding is a special day.
Wow.
Even if you buy a suit off the rack, it needs to be tailored.
Mm.
So if it is being tailored for you, there is a belt. The purpose um, is to really keep you, the primary purpose is to keep your pants up. But if something is tailored, then you don't need the belt.
Mm.
It's there's something very clean. I think that if you think back to some of the cleanest suits you've seen people wear, and try and see if you've seen a belt, and
Mm.
in most cases you haven't.
You don't.
Yeah, the belt it also it sort of breaks the body in half,
Oh.
especially if like if someone is you let's say if you're wearing a gray suit and then maybe black belt and then that black belt
Mhm.
like breaks the body, but then when you have let's say if it's a tailored gray suit, you just see it as one you
Wow.
know one beautiful piece.
Smooth.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
It looks seamless.
Seamless. That's the word to use. It
Yeah,
very
yeah, yeah,
seamless. Let me ask a very funny question. I remember I was
yeah.
one of my I was a groomsman for one of my friends, and then there was this funny comments that it passed. I don't know what you think about it. On your wedding day, you need to wear tight fitting underpants as a man. Do you agree? I don't know for what reason why they advise that you should wear tight fitting underpants. Don't wear loose boxer shorts, but very tight fitting underpants.
Oh yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I think that if you wear the briefs that are fitted to your body,
Mhm.
then it makes the suit look elegant. Sometimes you wear these baggy underwear and you'll see the lines in the pants.
The lines.
Yeah, you see the lines and it doesn't look as smooth as as we said right before, trying to have a seamless look that's elegant and whatever. When you start seeing the creases of
Mhm.
your underwear, it doesn't look good at all. And another thing, actually, while since we're talking about underwear, is when you think about socks.
Mm.
I think that once again, the I think you're looking at for like a seamless look. So if you're wearing a black suit, you really give yourself length if you wear and height if you wear black socks.
Mm.
Once in a while, I understand that maybe this colorful socks is a part of a groom's
Yeah.
personality, so I won't put a hard rule on that. But
Okay.
if you want to give, sometimes with my shorter clients who, you're trying to give height on that day, you find ways, small details of accentuating everything. So if you're looking at, you know, monochrome, from the suit to the socks and
Mm.
to the shoes, you give yourself that length
Mm.
and that height.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about bespoke personalization. Now, I'm very happy that you talk about the fact that people want their personality to show in what they wear, and I've seen a lot of people do that. How do you, or how can groomsmen be creative? First of all, I know they need to see their experts, they're professional, but how can they remain elegantly personalized when it comes to their suits as a groomsman?
Mm. So as a groomsman, I think that one thing that I've done for bridal parties in the past is they wore different. Some wore they wore different ties and accessories, but that fit within the same color scheme. So those are small details that you can give, or you do slightly different versions of the suits, but that fit within the color scheme. If you're able to for instance, if it's, let's just say maybe you guys played together on a basketball team or whatever, we can sew the jersey in the lining, that is something that we can put. So it's your detail with your brothers to mark that special day. So there are various ways of doing it. I think the safest bet is to do it with accessories that fit within the color scheme, so that there is that cohesiveness, but also elements of individuality. Sorry, I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Now I can hear you.
Oh, great, great. I think that was a network issue. So, I mean, it's very important, and I particularly would advise. So, would you advise people to personalize their suits all the time?
I think that this are you talking perhaps for the groom or for the groomsman?
No, for the groom. For the groom.
For the groom. I think for the groom that you need to I think that it's a case by case basis. I
Okay.
think that the number one thing is it a suit? Because this advice is for people who will go to Savile Row to get their custom suit, and this is for people who are going to go to a store to buy their suit.
Mm,
You need. I think the number one thing that you need to look at is look at options that flatter you, that fit your characteristics, and then get the fit right. So if you're buying off the rack, have some money put aside for a tailor to make the adjustments. And so I think in that regard, those are the key elements. If you can incorporate
mm,
parts of your personality, that is fantastic.
okay.
But you can do that in the accessories. It doesn't have to just come out in the suit. It might come out in the accessories. You might have maybe a special bracelet, or you might have socks
Mm,
that have a key element about, or some people have done pocket watches.
mm-hmm.
I've done a suit for a client who really wanted to have a pocket watch, and so that was something that was very important to him. Yeah, so there are a variety of ways,
There are
but
different.
I would say the safest way is always with the accessories.
All right. So we would encourage every one of you to put in your questions. Move to the box, the panel on your extreme right. You would see discuss, and then you just go into the audience and slide in your questions. I have one question here for
Okay,
you,
let me just
Matthew.
put the.
What kind of accessories are there on the market for the groom? What kind of accessories?
Sorry.
Lapel. What kind of accessories are out there on the market for the groom?
Yeah. So also, a tie, bow tie. This is the lapel pin. You have pocket squares,
Mm-hmm.
socks. Some cases it's like a more like a cravat, an ascot.
Mm-hmm.
You can have as I said, a pocket watch. There's so many, and I think that if you do a combination of them together
Mm-hmm.
that are cohesive, you can make a simple black suit look really amazing.
Mm, mm.
Yes.
Wow. So let me finally ask you, we're almost coming to the end of our Q&A, and I would also encourage a lot more people, before he touches on his final answer, I'm still encouraging lots more of you to do this for me. You can go, let's get talking on social media, East African Wedding Show I mean, we have House of Tayo here. It's on Instagram as House of Tayo. I actually just followed you, House of Tayo. And let's support our local businesses. So let's push the phenomenal talents that we have here on our continent. And trust me, this is what the East African Wedding Show is all about, to support intelligent and amazing crafts like Matthew and his crew. So we are talking to Matthew about where to start for Grooms. So make sure that you go to his page, House of Tayo is one word, House of Tayo. Make sure you go to his page and then you follow him and do the needful. Let's talk about future trends. Finally, what is your submission on future trends?
I think that the number one thing that we're going to see because of Corona um, is people are going to be shopping local. I think that's people are looking at at local options more than ever. I Sorry, I can't hear you. Hello, I can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
No,
Yeah.
I can.
Great.
Yeah, so I think one thing that Corona has made us do is people now are looking local. They're afraid of travel. They have to look for local alternatives. Another immediate one is weddings have become smaller. So before you might have a bridal party of 6 to 10 people, and now it is literally you and your best man. So in those situations, and I've already started to see that, is you have because they don't they're able to focus the part of the budget on 2 suits rather than six. And so those are all things that I've noticed changing. And I think that once you start seeing people adopt those, it will carry on for the next year or so. Many people are finding out about local options because they have been forced to, and now they actually seen the benefit of of having something custom made for you locally, where you can go and try it on, adjust, try it on, and the like. I think more generally, one thing that I've loved is seeing um, Africans embracing their culture more and embedding that into their weddings. I think that that's very important, and it stays true to their personal identity as an African. Maybe you're Ugandan, you're Nigerian, you're Ghanaian, you're Rwandan, you're South African. I think that is all very important, and you're seeing even when in situations that you have two sorts of weddings, a traditional and I mean your traditional and then the white wedding, you're seeing a lot more energy put into the traditional, which I love, because you see the enthusiasm, you see how rich the culture is, and that is not just within the setting, but in what people wear. In Rwandan weddings, you're seeing a lot more elaborate beadwork and for that traditional outfit.
I have learned a lot. I must tell you, I'm being honest. I've learned a lot in this short while, and I just, this is all time would permit us. We only had an hour to have this conversation. I wish we could have this like 3 hours, because there's still people here who want to listen and hear you out. Yeah. But unfortunately, this is what time would permit us to do. Matthew, where can we find your shop? I want to. Do you export? Do you ship all the way? Because I would want to place orders from Ghana here. Do you do that?
We're working on that, because one of the big components is our fit, and it's difficult to do that remotely. So one thing it's something that we're developing to be able to do more work across borders. At the moment, we've done quite a number of weddings in Uganda, but that's also partly because I can easily travel back and forth between there. it's so for the suits, it's a bit more difficult. For our shirts, that is something that we've done quite a bit of late. We
Okay.
recently did Junior and Nyong'o's wedding. Junior and Nyong'o, Lupita's brother, we
Oh,
designed a suit for the Black Panther premiere, and he got in touch with us and said, "Listen, I loved what you did back then. You're the only person I was going to call for my wedding." And so we did something that fit his character. So if you go into our Instagram page, you'll be able to see what we put together for him. But it's something that fit his character, and we were able to do remotely.
all right. So something that fits and we're able to do remotely, and we are looking for them to expand their business. And we are hoping and believing that what after this, your business will go to a different level. Please make sure that you get
Amen.
make sure you stay in touch with the House of Tayo. If you're a groom, if you're here, your brother's getting married. If you're here, your husband, you're getting married. I mean, as a groom, make sure you stay in touch. If you're a bride, look nowhere. Come to House of Tayo. Remember that we are bringing the personality out of you, your real personality expressed in the bespoke suits. This is House of Tayo for you. Now, before you leave, let me just quickly remind our participants of tomorrow. Tomorrow, same time, 11 o'clock Central African time. We will start with Jermaine. Jermaine is an amazing person. Aline will join me once more. Then we'll talk about roots, threads, and embellishment very early. At 2 o'clock, we'll have Piera. We are moving in together. Piera will do that discussion. Brendan and Shuti will lead that conversation. There will be a bridal makeup tutorial by Ivan at 3 o'clock Central African time by Brendan and Shuti. And then I will take over later in the day, 5 o'clock. Bonita and Bruno will talk about intimate luxury weddings, which has become the order of the day. And then Aisha, a fellow Ghanaian, will talk about we make sense together. We definitely will talk about our financial planning. But then before I take leave of you, I'm just putting you on the spot. I like to do that all the time. I wish and I pray that this pandemic leaves us very soon, because I'm coming to House of Tayo for bespoke suit. But
You're
I'm
most welcome.
just a little bit on the spot. You're doing this for me. Show us what you got from House of Tayo.
Oh, you want me to dance?
That's how we do it on this platform. It's
Hey.
the African Wedding Show. Hey, 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 hey. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this is about to happen. We are going to have more of this on the final day. We'll have an after party. Make sure that you stay glued. It's East African Wedding Show. So I'm about to introduce you again. So, ladies and gentlemen, all the way from Kigali. No, let me do a proper introduction.
Yeah.
All the way from Kigali. He's the most stylish. He's the most bespoke, full of ideas. Ladies and gentlemen, on the south end of Kigali, moving to the northeastern part of Kigali, there is no one as stylish as he is. He's about to turn up the building and give you a real good deal on the East African Wedding Show. Make some noise for wow. I never knew we could party virtually, but I think it's
I
you
know.
made it happen. You made
Thank
it
you,
happen.
Mr. Pratt. Thank you. It's been fun.
Thank you so much. It was really an honor having you on this platform. Thank you so much.
No, it was my absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much. House of Tayo, thank you so much. All right.
Mr. Pratt, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. We'll meet again. So, ladies and gentlemen, that was House of Tayo. Matthew Tayo Rugamba, the founder and creative director of House of Tayo. Thank you so much. I believe that today has been absolutely amazing. Inshuti, where are you? Can you join me here? Inshuti, please join me back. Thank you so much. I've seen the comments coming in. Mustafa Arafat, thank you so much. Great talk. Well done, gentlemen. Fabulous from Sheila Bujingo. Sheila, thank you so much. And we're having, well done, gentlemen. So it goes on and on and on. On this show, on this platform, we dance, we celebrate, we learn, and definitely we add value to our lives. So it's been a great one, ladies and gentlemen, with every one of you. My name is Mr. Pratt. You can find me on Instagram, MYSTERPRATT on Instagram. And of course, you can find East African Wedding Show at East African Wedding Show on Instagram as well. From the team, from Brenda, Godfrey, and Shuti, and all the team from IK's event, we want to say thank you so much for making time to be on this platform with us. Same time tomorrow, 11 a.m. Central African time, 9 a.m. Greenwich Meridian time. I will be here with my beautiful Alain Gahungaire, and we will have a great time with you for day 2. Remember, it is free to join. So make sure you tell a friend to tell a friend to tell another friend to join us on this platform. This has been the first ever virtual East African wedding show. If Inshuti is not coming, then definitely, ladies and gentlemen, what this means is that it's a sign of please stay safe, take very good care of yourself, your family, and everyone. And tomorrow, same time on this platform, we will meet. It's adios. From Accra, Ghana, I say bye-bye.